Hello, my name is Ryan McDaniel, and this is my expert speech. So, I chose to do my expert speech on the sport or hobby of weightlifting. So, I started doing weightlifting about 3 to 4 years ago because it was the end of my wrestling career because I wanted it to be. I had wrestled ever since I was about 4 years old and pretty much played football, wrestling, baseball, track all my entire life, and so I kind of wanted to switch it up towards the end of my high school sports career. So I decided to pick up weightlifting. I started off doing it as kind of a hobby, and then one day my powerlifting coach, or the powerlifting coach at the time, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I know you're super into weightlifting. Come do a powerlifting meet with me." And so I was like jokingly, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that for sure." But inside, I didn't really want to commit to anything because I was mostly doing it as a hobby. But as time went on, he kind of persuaded me, and so I was like, "Yeah, sure. Well, let me give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?" And so I ended up going, and I ended up taking first place. And it was the first time that I had really ever done powerlifting as a sport, and it was super exciting to me. So I was instantly hooked like that. And so that was the regional tournament, and then I just started, and then it moved me up to the state tournament. And so I ended up taking fourth in the state. And so if you don't know anything about powerlifting, it is a mixture of your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. So your bench press, which is, your bars right here, and then you press off and you're laying on your back. And then the squat, and you got the bar back here and you squat down. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then the deadlift, which is the bars laying on the ground and you lift it up. So those were the three main lifts that you had to do in a powerlifting meet. And so I won't get into the numbers because I have a hard time remembering those anyway. And so, yeah, so that brings me downstairs to my weight room, which I'll kind of give it a little tour. So there's the treadmill right there, and then there's a squat rack, and then there's dumbbells all set up here. There's a TV for watching YouTube when you're working out because that's what I like to do. And so, yeah, so I started out down here around, I don't know, I'm 20 now, so around 13 years ago, we'll say. I really started working out with my mom and dad. We'd come down here before school started, and when I was in elementary school, my brother was in middle school, and he in the middle school started an hour earlier than the elementary school. So him, my brother, and my dad would come down here, and they would work out. And then when they went off to work, my mom and me would come down here, and we would work out. So, and she had her little DVDs that she'd play in the TV, and that's one of the earliest memories that I had of working out down here. And I would do my curls and I'd do my squats. I couldn't quite bench press yet because all the weights we had, the 45-pound bar was too much for me. But that's still one of the earliest memories that I had of weightlifting, and I honestly thank my dad for pushing me and getting me into the gym. So the three sources that I have are just about the excellence of weightlifting and how important it is for your body to undergo that strain and the tension of physical exercise, because it is so important. If you take out physical exercise, it leads to mental depression and anxiety, because your body, we naturally need a release, and so we naturally need to get out aggression, whether that's from like your job or your family. I won't tell anybody. So yeah, so I have a few sources from the Mayo Clinic, from the CDC even recommends physical activity on a regular basis, at least 3 hours a week. By the bare minimum, I would say honestly more than that, because if you're anything like me, 1 hour is not enough. I usually like to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours in the gym every day, but it's really not a problem. And so the CDC and even Muscle and Fitness, it's a website I found. It seemed pretty pretty credible because it's the Mr. Olympia. That's one of the biggest bodybuilding competitions in the world. And so I just fell in love with weightlifting, and the physical and the mental benefits far outweigh anything in the world that you can even think of. So, just starting out with just a little bit of curls and then just walking on the treadmill. It's so beneficial. You will have so many amazing benefits just from stepping on the treadmill for at least an hour a day. So I don't know if I'm near an expert in all this, but I have been doing it for a long time and I just love it. I fell in love with it 13 years ago, and I hope and I know I will continue to do it in my future. So thank you guys.